Hi, my name is Channing Watson. I'm the knife maker behind Havocworks. I'm here at my friend's store, Survival Tactics, in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. I have a couple of new Karambit designs that I'd like to show you today. The first is this smaller knife here. It's approximately 5.9 inches long with a 2.15 inch blade. The other is this large guy over here. It is approximately 6.8 inches long with a 3¼ inch blade. I've had some questions about the aggressiveness of the angle of these knives. Later on, we're going to do a cut test with some cardboard and some pork shoulders that show that it's actually not a problem and more of a benefit. The handles of these knives have been designed specifically for a reverse grip instead of compromising to make both a standard grip and a reverse grip useful. It's still very comfortable and usable in a standard grip, as you can see. But with the reverse grip, by putting the blade as close to the hand as possible, I've minimized the leverage when you hit or slash something. As you can see, I'm barely gripping that, and there's really no movement. The same holds true for the bigger knife. It doesn't really move very much in your hand. I took kind of a new ideology to the design of these. I wanted to make them as compact as possible for a given blade length. I also wanted to make them easier to sheath, which I believe I succeeded at. As you can see, the angle of the blade allows for almost a straight draw with a very compact sheath. Even for this larger knife that has a little bit more curve, the draw is still almost straight out. I've tried to keep the tip of the knife at a 90-degree angle to the line of your knuckles, which allows for gross motor movements such as punching. As you'll see later, a straight punch allows the knife to penetrate for the entire blade length with both of these knives, which is very cool. When I originally designed these, I wondered if, like most Karambits, the penetration during a slash would stop around the center of the curve. That is not the case. These tend to want to penetrate all the way up to the choil when slashing. The physics of that are kind of complicated, but needless to say, they work that way. I also wanted to talk about the finish on these a little bit. This is my pattern etched finish. People have had some questions about the durability of it. This knife I've been carrying for almost 2 months now. It's been through a lot of cardboard, used to open boxes, been in and out of a sheath more times than I can count, and as you can see, there's not really any visible finish wear. The worst you get, for the most part, is a lightening of the dark parts. But other than that, since the shiny parts are higher than the dark parts, they take almost all of the abrasion from, normal tasks and tend to just get shinier over time. Which is cool. I really like this finish. It looks awesome. It's not terribly difficult to apply, and it holds up quite well. The small knife is currently available through order on my website at Havocworks.com. There will also be some of these available for sale through Karambit.com. The big one I have not priced out yet. Probably will not be adding these to the website until after Blade Show. With that said, we're going to get on to some cut testing and see how these guys perform. Okay, people have wondered if maybe the angle is a little bit too aggressive on this knife. I'm going to demonstrate that that's not the case, that it actually cuts very well. As you can see, this is just cardboard, so it's not really an analog of human flesh, but it cuts really well. This is my second prototype. This is a slightly, well, actually a lot larger blade than the small one that I just cut with, but as you can see, it cuts quite well. Similar angle and everything. Okay, one of the benefits of this angle is that for gross motor movement actions, like a punch, it drives almost straight in, as you can see, right up the knuckle, the entire blade depth, which is really awesome. Under stress, with a lot of Karambits, you have to get the same effect, you have to angle the blade slightly to get that much penetration. With this, you don't. It's just like punching somebody in the face or stomach or wherever. same thing goes for this larger blade. Straight in, all the way up. Becomes very effective for punch and rip motions. You get the full penetration of the blade and a very deep, nasty wound. Okay, I've got some pork shoulder here. I'm going to do a punch and slash and then just a slash, and we'll see what kind of penetration and how deep a wound we get. There's the punch. We've got right around 1 3/4 of penetration, which isn't bad. I think we might have hit the bone in there. And now we're going to do a slash. As you can see, this cuts very well. That is pretty much the entire depth of the blade. For such a short knife, that's a pretty good wound. Now for the larger of the two knives, this should be fairly nasty. We actually punched, as you can see, all the way up. That is the entire blade length of penetration. And for a slash, I'm afraid this meat's going to fall out of here this time. We've got a very deep, gross wound, as you can see. Alright, the top channel here is from the smaller knife. The meat's compressed a little bit, but you can see we got a pretty large wound for a short blade. This blade is only a tiny bit over 2 inches long. For the larger knife, the larger of the two, you can see that we pretty much cut all the way through it. If I can close this guy up, that is a very, very deep, nasty wound. Alright, I've got some pork shoulder here. This is the smaller of the two karambits. I'm going to do a slash, and we'll see what it does. This is the larger of my two new karambit designs. We're going to see how this one performs. Yeah, that's good. Alright, this is the larger of the two. As you can see, that is a very, very nasty wound. We've got pretty much all of the blade has penetrated up to my finger. I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. Right, this wound is from the smaller of the two designs. We actually penetrated the entire blade on a slash. That's actually more than the entire blade, that's about 3 inches. So also a very nasty wound for such a small knife.